Hey everyone, this video is going to be a bit more different because I want to try a new style, like making shorter videos in general, because even though I enjoyed making the reaction videos a while back, to be honest, I didn't do quite long, and I feel like making shorter videos in general would be a better path to make. I want to start off by saying sorry, my voice sounds very like sandpaper-ish. I think I just got a fever a couple days back and it feels awful. Hopefully over the course of this video it gets better, but yeah, right now it's goddamn it hurts. But anyways, the first bit of news I want to talk about in this kind of video format was, I'm pretty sure you've all seen it, the up-and-coming Logan Paul and Mike Tyson fight, which I'm going to start off just directly by just saying, to a lot of people, they probably found it like insanely like just surprising, which to me, I'm sure for like a split second I was also, but with the kind of nature of these fights, just YouTube, like a blend of YouTube fights, part of me felt like it was gonna only naturally happen at some point in time in the future. Like, of course, like the one place you can ever look for like good, this sounds dumb, but you can look for good sportsmanship in YouTube boxing. That's the one place barren of any of it. So it's only natural you would have like two completely different fighters somehow managing to get into the same range of a boxing fight. But I will say now, the one person I'm surprised actually signed up or agreed to fight was Mike Tyson. With Jake Paul, he at least has the connection with his older brother to like have a boxing fight and at least make money from that, just from the name alone. With Mike Tyson, I understand he's like a huge, boxing champion, like one of the most well known. But the biggest factor for me, just making it so bizarre, just the age in general. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but being in your late 50s, potentially isn't the best, place to be at to have a boxing fight. Especially when at your prime, your main moneymaker to, have a career was boxing, which even though I will admit he's incredible when you're doing fights, but no matter like how good you are, you will over time just get kind of like injuries from it, that no matter how good you heal from it, how minor it was, it will just carry over to when you get older. So it's like the two worst possible factors combined together to make this fight seem like it's struggling for me to see it as that exciting. On the aspect of Jake Paul, I guess it is kind of ambitious, to go for that kind of title, fighting Mike Tyson, one of the most well-known boxers and the most aggressive. But I feel like that's the kind of selling point you would only like be amazed by if you're a kid. Most people that know a tidbit of boxing know about Mike Tyson, of course, but they also know just how severe and awful it can be to have a fight out of nowhere when you're that old, especially. And to be honest, one of the most like inspiring parts for me to make this video, or like make this the first idea to talk about in this video format, was that clip from Joe Rogan where like he had a clip, Mike Tyson like recorded a short segment of him at the gym, where he's just like doing very light pad work, which is not very light, but doing it in a fast way, like technically impressive. But by the end, like even he admitted that put him in a bed for a week.
I did that video and I was in bed for a week. That was 30 seconds and I was in bed for a week. And it's not funny.
And to be honest, I love that clip because of how angry he gets at Joe Rogan. But still, if that short segment only made him like that tired, not just tired, but injured him to put him in a bed for a week, you don't have to imagine how it's gonna get to not only train but have an actual boxing fight with someone way younger than him. Of course, I'm not saying it would be way better to have people around the same age, because no matter like how good two people are at boxing, that age is still gonna be like a huge barrier, to enjoy it fully. However, I will admit, in his most recent training videos, he does look good. Like, despite what I said and even like how much older that clip was I showed before, it is like much better. But at the same time, I feel that's only the footage that we've seen online of his training. Like, there could be way like other stuff going on that we don't know about. Of course, he's not gonna show because it is still training. And people are always savvy about like how much they show of them training, not just for the fight because with the techniques, but still like what they're doing as well. Which might lead me to believe that he's actually gonna be using steroids, which isn't that mind blowing to me, because even a lot of boxers, even when they're young, they still have to take like a shit ton of drugs to just make it during the fight, or at least just like not be debilitated by the end. But with Tyson, I feel like it's critical for him to like at least take something so he doesn't, have the fight be awful apart from the first round. Like, it's funny how advanced human beings are and how we're like, even though we are still small, we still have like a huge physical ability to be strong, but there does seem like a certain point where no matter like how much you've trained, that still can't get past the limit of just being, just by the end if you're at a certain age. Also, with these kinds of fights, they're probably like a way more relaxed drug use set of rules. So 'cause I really can't imagine him like Mike Tyson signing his contract with at least having like one delineation of being like, okay, I should at least be able to use something to at least get me through training, at least make it a fight. Because if I can't, there's no way this fight is ever gonna come into fruition. And again, like I said, you're not gonna find perfect like sportsmanship in these kind of fights, YouTube fights, where they purely made to make money and, you know, drag attention to it. So I'm not gonna act like it's blasphemy for him to like be taking on drugs to at least, you know, make it for training. I'm not, because to be honest, if I was in my late 50s, I'd probably crumble on the first few days of training, or at least just not get, you know, physically ill. Because it's one of those things where very few people are at a good physical condition when they're a certain age. Like maybe only people that train, but they never do fights, because it lowers the chance of getting injuries that are long lasting. Which even then, your body like still can maintain training because of like the amount of wear you've had over the years. And that does bring me to no point of Mark Coleman, which some of you might know from UFC fighting. And I really don't want to say this in a horrible way, because he's an incredible guy. Especially after, most of you have probably seen the news of him walking to his house when it was set on fire to save his family and his dog. Which, when the first time I saw it, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's just like a pure good heart coming from it. But I just want to use him as an example, because most of you have also probably seen like during that one time where he's trying to come out of retirement to have a fight, which I'm not sure if that actually happened, but I just remember seeing that one clip where he was at the gym, he was shadowboxing, and to be honest, as much as like an incredible guy he was, it would be lying to like not say that he was a bit, the movement in general just being stiff, and the footwork as well being sloppy, which I guess you could boil it down to him just being like coming out of retirement and training again. But even then, I feel like fighting or just like footwork is one of those skills that you can't forget no matter like how long you've been out of fighting or training. But even then, if you are in good physical condition, even simple stuff like that can be incredibly hard, which of course just makes it like way harder, you know, if the fight that did happen, which I'm not sure if it did. But again, I really don't want to say like that in a horrible way. He's an incredible guy, but it would be hard to admit that it didn't look hard, or it wasn't hard to watch. And you'd probably argue that even though they're not the same person, of course, you can still somewhat like put them in the same group of fighters, where even though no matter how good they were when they were like in their prime, age is just one of those things that would just slowly like degrade the skills to the point that it was like a fraction of what it was when they were, you know, in the prime. But anyway, on one last note to like wrap this thing up, it's that even though despite what I've said and like the huge age difference and just like physical condition, it's still hard for me to say who's gonna win, because you can't really expect like one good honest fight where it's purely predicted, like the victor's judged by his actual skill in the fight during the day. And it's more so like, it feels more like WWE, where like it's definitely way more planned behind the scenes to at least, you know, they have one guaranteed fight, you know, like cause controversy. Which had it been Logan Paul, I could definitely imagine him wanting to have the contract say that he's gonna win to at least keep the streak of wins. But since it's Jake Paul and he's already had like, you know, 2 fights, I can definitely imagine him giving away to Mike Tyson. And I should mention, like, I feel like him as well, Tyson, he has like a kind of like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson contract where no matter what, he can show himself lose. Which becomes a kind of one, because it would be just like soul tarnishing to see just a YouTuber beat one of the greatest boxers of all time. Even if you're like a huge boxing fan, you have to admit that just for sports in general, that would be just, you know, just awful to see. The only thing I can really predict is how the rounds are gonna go, which they might have like a, you know, simple like 6 rounds, way shorter each one. But I can definitely imagine like the first one being much more faster, with Tyson being more aggressive, but just over time him slowly losing energy, which is natural to happen, of course. I just want to see how it'll end by then, because even though Jake Paul hasn't done boxing for a long time, it's not that hard to survive one round and at least try to make it out by the end. Which I'm not gonna say if it's gonna end in a knockdown, but maybe most likely in just like a decision by the end. Which I guess by that point is purely your own taste. You want to see like one huge knockdown to kind of like revitalize, you know, the love in Mike Tyson, or one decision where it was exciting in the first round but now it's kind of a drag by the end, you know. It's purely your decision, whatever you guys want.